Hello everyone. In today's lecture we are going to study the second chapter from Unit 3, which is Unity Engine Multi-Platform Publishing VR and AR. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to study the points which is introduction and working in Unity, 2D, then graphics, physics, scripting, animation, timeline, multiplayer and networking, UI, navigation and pathfinding, XR and publishing. Okay, so these points are comes under this chapter. So first of all, we start with introduction and working in Unity. Okay, so by using Unity editor, you can create the 2D and 3D games, apps. Okay, so for creating two-dimensional and three-dimensional games, you can use the Unity editor. Okay, so this is one of the editor which is used to create the games. So the steps which are used for the installation of the Unity are: first one is steps for Unity installation. Unity is an open source software and it's free to download. For that you have to download it from its official website, which is given here, that is unity3d.com. okay, so when you come go on the particular website, that is Unity, this is the Unity documentation. You can refer this file for your theoretical concepts or clear the concepts of Unity. So you can use this particular website, https unity3d.com, get Unity download HU. Okay, from that you can download the file, then download the latest Unity editor setup from the link given above. Then you can follow the steps. Okay, so these are the steps here. Then installer use of download assistant. Then choose the component to install and click. These are the steps which are comes under that particular editor. Just like you download any software and install that particular software in your computer, just like that you can download the Unity editor from the internet and install it. Okay, so these are the some steps which is given here, and in detail I explain that particular steps and particular concepts by actually running the Unity. Okay, so in this lecture we just study the theoretical concepts. So the next one is 2D. After launching the Unity, the very first screen appears look like this. ओके, आता ही जी स्क्रीन दिसते तर याच्यामध्ये हे 2D ऍप्लिकेशन आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये ईमेल आयडी आणि पासवर्ड इथे मागितला जातो. ओके, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू कॅन give the email ID and password, and after that you can log in into the 2D application, and it will contains the two options. Okay, so that is projects and learns. Learn means it gives the particular information, and in project tab you can create your own project. Okay, so when you can click on projects, then it appears this particular screen here. When you can click on new, then you can type the project name, location where you want to save that particular project. Then suppose you want to create the organization particular application, then you can type here any name. Then suppose you want to create the 2D application, then select here 2D. Suppose you want to create 3D, then you can select 3D. Okay, and after that create project, click on create project. Okay, then after that a screen will appear which is showing the 2D environment for our project. Go ahead and try to explore. That means after clicking on create project, this particular window is open. Okay, so in that window it contains the 4 tabs, main tabs. In the left side it contains hierarchy, then right side inspector, bottom side assets, and front side is scene view. Okay, so these are the 4 main components of 2D environment or 2D application. आता याच्यामध्ये बघा हे 4 सीन आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये सॉरी टॅब्स आहेत, आणि त्या टॅब्स मध्ये पर्टिक्युलर इन्फॉर्मेशन याच्यामध्ये शो केली जाते. ओके, सपोज यू वॉन्ट टू फाइंड आउट that particular information about the 2D point, you can go on the Unity manual, and in that the detailed information is given here. Okay, so these on the screen you can just show these images. Okay, याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला images दिसत असतील. You can see these images. Okay, so these images or these games are created in 2D, okay, and using Unity Hub, okay. So this contains users developing 2D games in Unity, okay. So we can use different uses of the 2D for creating the games, okay. Then it contains the particular tabs here. First one is hierarchy. Suppose you want to find out here. Okay, you just see here. This is the installation and setting up of the Unity. So first of all, you can download that particular Unity. Then these are the steps which are used for download and install the particular Unity software. Then creating your first project. The first project kasa create करायचं. So in this image, you can just see this image. Okay, so here you can type the email ID and password. Okay, so and after that the screen is open, which is this screen. And in the project you can type the project name, location, and select 2D. Just like this, here you can type the project name, location, and select the 3D or 2D application here. Okay, and click on the create project button. Okay, after clicking on create button, you can open or you can see the this type of screen is appear. Okay, so this is the screen just like this. Okay, and it contains the four particular parts, that is hierarchy, assets, and inspector. Okay, so main four regions. First one is this window is where we build our scene, and scenes are levels in which everything in your game takes place. Okay, so this is the scene view, म्हणजे ज्याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही जे काही ऍप्लिकेशन क्रिएट करता किंवा गेम क्रिएट करता तर त्याच्यामध्ये जे ऍप्लिकेशन वर्किंग करायचं आहे किंवा जे ऍक्च्युअली क्रिएशन आहे तर ते क्रिएशन कुठं होतं तर या सीन व्ह्यू मध्ये होतं. ओके, दॅट मीन्स युअर ऍक्च्युअल गेम इज क्रिएटिंग इन दी सीन व्ह्यू. ओके, so the next main part is inspector. It is empty for now, but because we do not have any objects in our scene, and when we add any object into your particular game, then the inspector tab or inspector part of the particular Unity 2D application is appeared. Okay, so you just see this part inspector when you can add any object. Okay, suppose you can add any running boy image on that particular scene view, then the particular information or a particular calculations of that particular objects are comes in the inspector tab. Then the next one is assets. Okay, when we can add any assets into the particular application, then that are comes in the assets tab. And in hierarchy, it contains addition of objects, cameras, light sources, and another applications in your scene. Okay, scene means nothing but the part of the game, okay, which is created here. Okay, so by using hierarchy, you can add objects, cameras, light sources, and stuff like in that your scene. The next, second one is assets. Assets in this field, games are stored like images, fonts, scripts, scenes, text files, XML files, music, sounds, videos, etc. Okay, assets means ज्या काही एक्सटर्नल फाइल्स असतील तर त्या एक्सटर्नल फाइल्स या assets मध्ये स्टोअर असतात. ओके, सपोज याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही एखादं गेम क्रिएट केलेला आहे आणि त्याच्यासाठी लागणारा जो काही ऑडिओ आहे तर तो ऑडिओ तुम्हाला यामध्ये इन्क्लूड करायचा असेल या गेम मध्ये, तर फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तुम्हाला तो तुमच्या कम्प्युटरच्या मेमरीवरून या जीपीयू वरती घ्यावा लागतो. म्हणजे तुम्हाला अगोदर सांगितलेलं आहे की जीपीयू कन्सेप्ट काय आहे. तर जीपीयू म्हणजे पर्टिक्युलर मेमरी आहे, ग्राफिक्स प्रोसेसिंग युनिट, आणि त्याची जी मेमरी आहे त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला काय करावं लागतं, स्टोअर करावं लागतं. तर ही ऍसेट्स अशी याच्यामध्ये स्पेस आहे की ज्याच्यामध्ये ज्या काही एक्सटर्नल फाईल्स आहेत आणि त्या एक्सटर्नल फाईल्स आपल्या गेम मध्ये इन्क्लूड करायच्या आहेत, तर त्या ऍसेट्स मध्ये फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल काय करावे लागतात, स्टोअर करावे लागतात. ओके, so in assets you can store the images, fonts, scripts, scenes, text files, xml files, music, sounds, video files. Okay, so this is the important part of the game asset. The next one is scene. In this scene view you can see what's going on in the scene itself. Assets can be added here and dragging them, and even you can make changes according to you want. Okay, तर आता याच्यामध्ये जे तो सपोज तुम्ही याच्यामध्ये एक इमेज इन्क्लूड केलेली आहे, तर ती ऍसेट्स मधून इथं आपण हिरा सीन व्ह्यू मध्ये ड्रॅग करू शकतो आणि त्याच्यावरती काहीतरी चेंजेस करू शकतो. सपोज यू वॉन्ट टू ऍड एनी ऑब्जेक्ट, ओके, देन यू जस्ट drag that particular object from the asset and add on to the scene view, and after that you can change that particular object. Then the inspector, we can modify, add and remove components and the properties of the objects in the scene. Okay, objects मध्ये आपण changes करू शकतो याच्यामध्ये. Then what is the object? Suppose this is the car image in this game, then this is the object. Okay, suppose you can see this particular uh, cartoons here which is given in this small size. These are also the objects here. Okay, so this is the also object in that particular game, so we can drag that particular objects images on the particular scene view, and after that we can change into that. Okay, so this is look like this. This is the inspector, this is hierarchy, this is assets, and this is scene view. And main working is done in this scene view. Okay. See this inspector window. When we can add any object in the scene view, then inspector window contains the transform, camera, these types of particular options here. Okay, so this is the point 2D. That means introduction to the 2D application. Okay, or how to create the application. That means when we can install the particular Unity software, then you can create the 2D application using these steps, or you can just enter into the particular Unity hub. Okay, that part is comes under 2D point. Okay, then the next one is graphics. Okay, so what are the use of graphics? First of all, see here, this is the Unity documentation or a Unity manual. You can just refer this manual for the study. Okay, this is the graphics. Make your game look just like real-time global illumination and our physically based shaders. Okay, so you can use the graphics concept. Okay, so by using graphics you can add the lighting, cameras, materials, shaders and textures, visual effects on the particular application or on the game. Okay, so by using the graphics, so if you see this image, then in this image or in this game the graphics is added, and by using graphics these images look like this. Okay, so we can add any visual effects, texturing, shaders, materials, lighting, all that concepts are used in games by using the concept of graphics. Okay, so in this particular part or in this PDF, it contains the simple example of basketball image, which is not clear here. So the steps are to drag that particular object from the asset on the scene view, and after that add the particular options on that particular uh, basketball. Okay, so if you want to find out that particular system, You can refer this particular tutorial. Okay, so these are the image videos here which is given. You just see any of the video. Okay. Then the next one is physics. Okay, so some of the physics concepts are also used in Unity. Okay, so the main concepts are the vectors, then rigid bodies and forces, then colliders and collisions. Okay, so in Unity we have two classes named vector 2 and vector 3. They are the containers for numeric values. Okay, and vector 2 contains two values and vector 3 contains three values. Okay, while writing code in Unity, instead of defining two positions x and y separately, we can specify using vector 2, which will contain variables. Okay, so the variables are created in a 2D game by using the vectors. Okay, so see here physics. Okay, see, then the physics concepts are used in games. Okay, so we can use the concepts from the physics, just like the objects correlated acceleration and respond to collisions, gravity, and various other forces are included in the 2D game. Okay, so for using that particular availability of physics concepts in the game, you can use the physics options which are included in Unity. Okay, so here's object oriented projects here which is given. Suppose you want to find out that particular options, you can use this. Okay, then the next one is rigid bodies. In your project, select your particular object and click on the add component button. Okay, actually these steps are I am showing you in the practical part. Then the next one is colliders and collisions. In this part, you just remember that in physics, it contains the three options, which is vectors, then rigid bodies and forces, and colliders and collisions. Then that steps are I am giving you in the practical one. Then the next one is scripting. In Unity C#, scripts are used mostly widely used by the developer, and we can write the logic to move the game object, and that feature required in game are defined in script by programming it properly. Okay, so the main programming language which is used in Unity, which is C#. Okay, so you can write the scripts for the particular games in the C# script, and that scripts are added in the assets. Okay, that is external file. ओके, आता आपण इथं बघितलं होतं 2D पॉइंट मध्ये, त्याच्यामध्ये जो हा 2D पेन दिसतो, ॲनिमेशन पेन, किंवा त्याच्यामध्ये 2D ऍप्लिकेशन पेन आहे, तर त्याच्यामध्ये जो ऍसेट पार्ट आहे त्याच्यामध्ये स्क्रिप्ट्स काय केल्या जातात तर ऍड केल्या जातात, आणि या स्क्रिप्ट या C# मध्ये लिहिलेल्या असतात, आणि त्याच्यामध्ये ऍक्च्युअल गेम साठी लागणारे जे काही कोडिंग आहे तर ते कोडिंग या स्क्रिप्ट फाईल मध्ये लिहिलेलं असतं. ओके, so we can write the code or a game object code that particular C# files. So these are the steps how to create a script. Okay, so just click on assets area, create and C# script. Then the main part of the scripting, which is the particular classes and methods. Okay, so the main method, main class which is used in scripting is mono behavior. Mono behavior is a class that all script will inherit its properties. Okay, so all the class methods which are derived from the mono behavior class, which can inherit the properties of that particular class. Okay, so the particular mono behavior class defines just as game object, and in bracket game object dot transform dot position dot x slash y slash z. That means x axis, y axis, and z axis. That is transformation. This is the simple Example of the monobehavior class, which is used for transformation. And in monobehavior class, it uses the two main methods. First one is start method and second one is update method. Okay, so the start method run in the script once when the game object is initialized or it becomes active. Okay, so for example, we can make use of start method to set initial value of bullet count for a gun game object. Okay, तर याच्यामध्ये स्क्रिप्ट रन करण्यासाठी किंवा एक्झिक्यूट करण्यासाठी याच्यामध्ये स्टार्ट मेथड यूज केली जाते. ओके, दॅट मीन्स टू स्टार्ट द गेम ऑब्जेक्ट और इनिशियल द गेम ऑब्जेक्ट. फॉर एक्झाम्पल याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला सांगितलेलं आहे की जर याच्यामध्ये गन गेम ऑब्जेक्ट असेल तर त्याच्यामध्ये गन मध्ये किती बुलेट्स असणार आहे, तर त्याचा काउंट काय असेल, तर तो काउंट या स्क्रिप्ट मध्ये त्याचं कोडिंग असणार आहे. त्या कोडिंग वरती त्या पर्टिक्युलर गेम्स मध्ये गन गेम मध्ये त्या त्या गन मध्ये किती बुलेट्स असणार आहेत, तर या स्टार्टिंग मेथड वरती ते डिपेंड असतं, बिकॉज दॅट स्टार्ट मेथड इज गिवन इन दॅट पर्टिक्युलर स्क्रिप्ट. Then the second one is update method. You need to call this method 60 times per second. Okay, that means 60 times per second this method is called, and this is the main functionality of code. And for example, for detecting the inputs, adding forces, adding source scores, spawning enemies or bullets, for that particular uses update method is used. Okay, so these are some uses of the update method, which is detecting input, adding forces, adding score. Okay, suppose you want to add the score in your 2D application, then use that particular update method. Okay, so that methods are used in scripts, that is C# script. Okay, and that C# script is added in Unity. Okay, so this is the simple concept, scripting. Okay, then the main part is animation. Okay, so in detail we just study about the animation and the theoretical concepts which are related to animation. Okay, so in Unity you can perform animation on game object and characters. Okay, game object means nothing but the part which is used in game or the particular main part of the game. Okay, suppose this is the car, this is the particular object in that particular game. Suppose these are the particular object. Okay, so this is the object. Suppose these bullets are also the objects in that particular game. Okay, so we can add the animation on that particular game. Okay, then these animation are retargetable and have full control on animation at runtime. Unity also provides humanoid animation for one character model onto another. Okay, so the animation window is appeared in the Unity, and you can use the animation on the game objects and characters. Okay, so the parts which are included in game animations are as follows. First of all, clear the concept of animation. What is animation? Yes. Okay. Suppose this is an example. Okay, so just see this particular book. Okay, suppose this is the first image, then this is the second image. Okay, that particular object can change their position. Okay, see repeatedly this. Okay, Okay, that means this is the combination of pictures which is taking continuously. That means the particular objects can change their position by the time, and that changing in that particular object are given in the particular one clip, or we can merge that particular images into one file, then that animations are created. Okay, so this is nothing but the movement of an object which is gathered in animation file. Okay, so the animation is created using different options which is given in Unity. So Unity animation system is based on animation clips that contains the change in object position, rotation, and other properties over time. Okay, so I'm saying you what is animation. This is the change of the particular object by positions, rotations, and another properties which are also used for the changes in an object. Okay, so the main part is animation clips. Okay, so animation clips are organized in structured flowchart known as animation controller, and this controller acts like a state machine that keeps the track of which clip should currently be playing and when the animation should change or blend together. Okay, so the main part is animation controller, and which keeps track of all the particular clips currently playing. Okay, so this is the particular part which is included in animation. Then the animation system has two parts. First one is legacy animation system and animation from external sources. Okay, so if you need to use when working with older content created before Unity 4, you can use legacy animation system. Suppose you want to use the older versions of Unity, that means before Unity 4, then you can use legacy animation system. And second one is animation from external sources. You can import the animation from external sources same way as regular 3D files. The following FBX 3D assets have an animation title run. Okay, so you can use any external sources in animation. Then you can use the second part, which is animation from external sources, and it provides the option which is run, and from the run option you can use any of the external file. Okay, so these are the two options which is used here: legacy animation system and animation from external sources. Then next one is importing animation files. Suppose you want to add the another external animation files. Okay, so you can use the 3D Studio Max, that is .max, then Maya, that is .md or .me, and a Cinema 4D, that is .c4d files. Okay, so these are the animations files which are included in Unity, or you can import that animation files. Then the third use is, fourth one is viewing and copying data from imported animation files. Okay, so in animation windows, you can view the keyframes and curves of imported animation clips. Okay, so animation is nothing but the combination of frames, and that frames are created by using the collection of images. Okay, that means that image contains the movement of the particular object. So you can view and copy the data from the imported animation files. Okay. Then the next second part is after animation window, which is a animation view. Okay. So to open the animation window, go to window animation, and in animation view, you can see these particular parts. First one is viewing animations on a game object. Okay, so in animation window you can see the project window, hierarchy window, scene window, and inspector window. And the animation window shows the timeline and keyframes of the animation for the currently selected game object or animation clip assets. Okay, so the next part is animation properties list. Okay, suppose you can take any of the object, then the properties related to that particular objects are listed in the animation properties list. Okay. Then the next one is animation timeline. At the right side of the animation view, you can see the timeline for the current clip. Okay, the keyframes for each animated property become visible in this timeline. These are two modes of timeline view, that is dope sheets and curves. Okay, so these are the two parts which are used for giving the timeline. Okay, that means particular animation starting times or ending time or the particular time of the particular frame. That means how many time the one frame is executed. That time is given in animation timeline. In that first one is dope sheet timeline mode. This mode provides the more compact view and permits you to view each property's keyframes sequence in an individual horizontal track. Okay, so this permit you to view a simple overview of the keyframe timing for many properties. Okay, suppose जर याच्यामध्ये एक animation असेल किंवा animation part असेल तर त्याच्यामध्ये जर त्या पर्टिक्युलर animation मध्ये जर 10 की फ्रेम्स असतील, ओके, तर त्या 10 की फ्रेम्स मध्ये त्याच्यामध्ये वन की फ्रेम ही किती टाइम ह्याच्यामध्ये एक्झिक्यूट होणार आहे किंवा त्याच्यावरती कोणते इफेक्ट्स ऍड करायचे आहेत का, तर ते ऑप्शन त्याच्यावरती ऍड करू शकतो बाय युजिंग डोपशीट टाइमलाइन. Okay, and another one is curve timeline mode. To view the how the values of every animated property changes over time, the curve mode displays is used. Okay, so it is resizable graph, and we can resize that particular graph. And suppose you want to view one keyframe for 10 seconds and a second keyframe for 2 seconds, then you can add that particular timeline for that particular keyframes in an animation. You can use curves timeline mode. Okay, then the next one is fitting your selection to the window. Okay, so you can add the particular selection on the particular animation. Okay, suppose the animation curve for the position value is very difficult to make out because the view will be zoomed out to fit 0 to 360 range of the rotation values within the window. Okay, that means you can zoom that particular view of the particular position of the particular animation object or game object. Then you can fit that particular object by zooming into 0 to 360 range. Okay, that means 0 to 360 डिग्री मध्ये आपण तो ऑब्जेक्ट काय करू शकतो, मूव करू शकतो. ओके, then playback and frame navigation control. Okay, so use playback control at the top left of animation view to control playback of the animation clip. Okay, so in this screen you can just see this panel which is given for playback and frame navigation control. The preview mode, record mode, and more playback head to the beginning of the clip, move playback head to the previous keyframe, play animation, move playback head to the next frame, move playback head to the end of the clip. Okay, so these options are available in playback and frame navigation control. Okay, playback means suppose you can collect that particular 10 images. Okay, and by using that 10 images or frames you can create the animation. Okay, so there are the 10 frames available in your project. Then you can join that particular images or frames and you can create the one animation file. Okay, suppose you want to add that particular 10 files, then you can use that playback and frame navigation control for adding that particular frames together by using different options. Just like that, first one is preview mode, then second one is record mode, then move playback head to the beginning of the clip. ओके, म्हणजे जो काही ॲनिमेशन आहे तर त्याचं ॲनिमेशनचं जे बिगिनिंग आहे तर ते फर्स्ट फ्रेम वरती आणून ठेवण्यासाठी किंवा फर्स्ट फ्रेमला लोकेट करण्यासाठी त्याच्यामध्ये मूव प्लेबॅक हेड टू द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द क्लिप ऑप्शन याच्यामध्ये यूज करू शकतो. देन त्याच्यानंतर दुसरा ऑप्शन काय आहे तर मूव प्लेबॅक हेड टू द प्रिव्हियस की फ्रेम. ओके, तर त्याच्यामध्ये आपण प्रिव्हियस की फ्रेमला सुद्धा प्लेबॅक हेड असाइन करू ठेवू शकतो. Then play animation. Okay, so middle button is play animation. That means ऍक्च्युअल ॲनिमेशन फिल्म काय केली जाते, प्ले केली जाते. देन मूव प्लेबॅक हेड टू द नेक्स्ट की फ्रेम, देन मूव प्लेबॅक हेड टू द एंड ऑफ द क्लिप. ओके, म्हणजे हे जे दोन फ्रेम्स आहेत किंवा हे जे दोन ऑप्शन्स आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये हा जो ऑप्शन आहे, हा ऑप्शन कशासाठी आहे तर प्रिव्ह्यू मोड साठी आहे. Okay, so this is the preview. Then second one is record. Suppose you want to record that particular clip, then click on record. So this is the preview. That means you can just review that particular animation film. Then the next one is, this is the button. When you can click on that button, it goes at the starting of that particular animation clip. Then suppose you want to this click on this button, then you can go at the end of that particular ॲनिमेशन क्लिप. जसं तुम्ही एखादा व्हिडिओ बघत असाल तर त्याच्यामध्ये ऑप्शन्स असतात की स्टार्टिंग ऑफ दी व्हिडिओ, एंडिंग ऑफ दी व्हिडिओ, और यू कॅन गो फॉरवर्ड 10 सेकंड्स, म्हणजे 10 सेकंडने तुम्ही तो व्हिडिओ पुढे घेऊ शकता, 10 सेकंडने तुम्ही मागे घेऊ शकता, त्या टाइप मध्ये आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये जर या बटनवरती क्लिक केली तर ॲनिमेशन क्लिपच्या स्टार्टिंगला येतं, यावरती क्लिक केलं तर ॲनिमेशनच्या एंडिंगला येतं. दॅट इज मूव्ह प्लेबॅक हेड टू द एंड ऑफ द क्लिप. ओके, सपोज हा जो त्याच्या मिडल मधला जो ऑप्शन आहे, मूव्ह प्लेबॅक हेड टू दी प्रिव्हियस की फ्रेम, म्हणजे अगोदरची फ्रेम ओपन केली जाईल. यावरती केलं तर तुम्ही आता जी ॲनिमेशन फ्रेम ओपन केलेली आहे त्याच्या नेक्स्ट वरती जाणार आहे. आणि हा जो मिडलचा ऑप्शन आहे तो ॲनिमेशन प्ले करण्यासाठीचा ऑप्शन आहे. तर हे ऑप्शन्स या प्लेबॅक अँड फ्रेम नेव्हिगेशन कंट्रोल मध्ये अवेलेबल आहेत. देन द नेक्स्ट वन इज लॉकिंग द विंडो. If you want to focus on the animation on a specific game object and still able to select and manipulate other game objects in the scene, then you can lock the window. Okay, suppose you want to lock that particular window when you can doing the work on that particular game object, then you can lock that particular window and you can do your work on that particular scene. Okay, so this is the another option, that is locking the window. Then the next one is creating a new animation clip. Okay, that means you can use your own animation in Unity by using animation option available in Unity. Okay, so these are the steps. These steps I am explaining you in the practical part. So here we just study the only theoretical concepts, so I'm skip that particular steps here. So the animating game object. Okay, so I'm already explained this. That is record mode, preview mode, recording keyframes, timeline. Okay, so timeline is also explaining here. Suppose you want to create manually keyframes, then it's also possible in Unity to create the manual keyframes. Then the timeline part. These are the only steps which are used for creating that particular part, that is animation, timeline. Okay, so the timeline, how that timeline window is showing. Okay. So these here are the end of the animation part, which gives the steps for creating the animation. So we just study that part in practical. So we move towards the next point, which is multiplayer and networking. Okay, so the two parts of the multiplayer are the users which can use the particular application. So there are two types of users for the networking, which is users who makes multiplayer game with Unity, and another one is the users who build network framework or superior multiplayer game. Okay, so these two types of users can use the Unity. Okay, so that's why these are the multiplayer, and it creates the network framework. So the first one is multiplayer gamers, and these types of users has to start with network manager or the high level API. Okay, So it can uses the application program interface for creating the your games in Unity. And the another one is the users who can build network framework or superior multiplayer games, and it should start with network transport API. Okay, so this is the difference between that. It uses the high level API, and in another it uses network transport API. Okay, so we can study that two parts, that is high level API and network transport API. Okay, so the first one is high level scripting API. In Unity's networking high level scripting API, you are not supposed to worry about the low level implementation detail. This API will give you the access to the commands that over most or cover most of the general requirements of multi-user games. Okay, so by using network manager, you can control the network state of game. You can operate client host games. Using serialize, you can serialize data. You can send and receive the network messages. Then you can send the network commands from client to server. Then remote procedure calls can be made from server to client. And network events can be sent from server to client. Okay, so these are the uses of the high level scripting API. Okay, so for that purpose, the high-level scripting APIs are used, and which is used by the users to make a multiplayer game. Okay, suppose you want to play multiplayer, then the networking concept is included. Okay, so suppose you can play the Ludo. Okay, so and in Ludo game is a multiplayer game also. Okay, that means 4 players, 5 players are also play that particular Ludo. Okay, so that particular players are communicated with each other at the one place using the concept of network. ओके, म्हणजे याच्यामध्ये जरी लुडो जर याच्यामध्ये जर 5 युजर्स खेळत असतील किंवा प्ले करत असतील, तर त्याच्यामध्ये ते 5 युजर्स असतील, ते 5 ठिकाणाहून त्याच्यामध्ये काय झालेले असतात, कनेक्टेड झालेले असतात. आणि त्याच्यामध्ये कनेक्टेड झालेले जे युजर्स आहेत, तर ते कनेक्टेड होण्यासाठी याच्यामध्ये नेटवर्कची गरज असते. ओके, तर त्याच्यामध्ये हे नेटवर्क मध्ये कनेक्ट होण्यासाठी त्याच्यामध्ये हे पार्ट येतात. तर त्याच्यामध्ये हा जो फर्स्ट पार्ट आहे तो हाय लेवल एपीआय आणि दुसरा आहे तो नेटवर्क ट्रान्सपोर्ट एपीआय. ओके, तर आता आपण हा जो बघतोय तो फर्स्ट आहे हाय लेवल स्क्रिप्टिंग एपीआय. त्याच्यामध्ये काय काय त्याची यूज होऊ शकतात, तर याच्यामध्ये युजिंग नेटवर्क मॅनेजर यू कॅन कंट्रोल द नेटवर्क स्टेट ऑफ गेम. ओके, देन यू कॅन ऑपरेट क्लायंट होस्ट गेम. याच्यामध्ये क्लायंट होस्ट गेम ऑपरेट केले जातात. त्याच्यानंतर सिरियलाइज डेटा केला जातो किंवा नेटवर्क मेसेजेस सेंड केले जातात. नेटवर्क कमांड्स क्लायंट टू सर्व्हर सेंड केला जातात किंवा आरपीसी कॉल क्रिएट केले जातात सर्व्हर टू क्लायंट किंवा नेटवर्क इव्हेंट सुद्धा याच्यामध्ये कॉल केले जातात. ओके, सो दीज आर द यूज ऑफ हाय लेवल स्क्रिप्टिंग एपीआय. You just may know about the multiplayer games. Okay, so there are different games available over the internet, uh, which is depends upon multiple users. Then these are the options which is available, that is engine and editor integration, internet services. Then next one is in network transport layer, real-time transport layer. Then setting up multiplayer object. Okay, so these are the options which is included in high-level scripting API. Then the next one is network manager, which is second part. Okay, so we just study this particular first option. Then the second one is network manager, that is network transport API. Okay, so the network manager manages networking aspects of multiplayer game. So the multiplayer network manager is available in Unity for managing the networking assets in multiplayer game. So the network managers should be active in your scene at a time. These are built-in network manager component in Unity, and it manages all the features of multiplayer game. म्हणजे जर एखादा मल्टीप्लेयर गेम क्रिएट करायचा असेल, तर त्या मल्टीप्लेयर गेम क्रिएट करण्यासाठी जे काही लागणारे फीचर्स आहेत, तर ते फीचर्स हे नेटवर्क मॅनेजर थ्रू मॅनेज केले जातात. Okay, so the network manager part is available in Unity. So the use of the multiplayer Unity network manager is a user interface for player to find and join games. Okay, so the maximum multiplayer game permits the players with a way to find out, create, and join individual game instance matches. This part of the game is commonly called as lobby and at times has extra feature like chat. Okay, suppose there are a chat option available between the players, then that game is played maximally. So the different options are given in the particular multiplayer game by using Unity. Okay. Then the objects are managed by using network player game object option. Okay, so the different options are available here. Then next one is multiplayer aware scripts. These are also available here. Then how that actual network manager is used. It uses four main features. In that, first one is game state management, then spawn management, scene management, debugging information, and matchmaking customization. Okay, so these are the components which are used in network manager. Okay, so see this here, the network manager features includes game state management, spawn management, scene management, debugging information, and matchmaking customization. Okay, so the next steps are started the network manager. That means how the uh, network manager is started. In that, next one is game state management, first part. Okay, so the network manager, which contains the game state management, it uses the three methods, that is network manager dot start client, network manager dot start server, and third one is network manager dot start host. Okay, so these are the parts which are included in multiplayer game. मल्टीप्लेयर गेम मध्ये हे इम्पॉर्टंट असतात. त्याच्यामध्ये आहे एक असतो तो सर्व्हर, सेकंड आहे तो क्लायंट आणि थर्ड आहे तो होस्ट. दॅट स्टेट्स आर मॅनेज्ड इन गेम स्टेट मॅनेजमेंट पार्ट. Then the second one is spawn management. In the network manager, manage the spawning of network game object. It has a player prefab slot. Okay. So this is the second part. इथे तुम्ही बघू शकता की ह्याच्यामध्ये जे पार्ट दिले होते तर ते पार्ट्स कोणते कोणते आहेत. तर ह्याच्यामध्ये first one is first one is game state management, then second one spawn management, then scene management, debugging information, and matchmaking customization. Okay, so first one is game state management, we just studied. Then spawn management. Then these options are available here, that is customizing player instantiation, that is used for the network management to spawn player game objects. Okay, and then one next one is start position. You can add as many start positions to your scene as you wish. And these options are used to control the players where they are spawned. Okay, तर हा सेकंड ऑप्शन त्याच्यामध्ये अवेलेबल आहे. आणि थर्ड ऑप्शन आहे तो सीन मॅनेजमेंट. इन मेनी गेम्स देअर इज मोर दॅन वन सीन. ओके, so that scenes are managed by using the part of network management, which is scene management. Okay, so there are multiple users available in that particular game. Then there are also more than one scenes available in that particular game. Okay, so that particular different scenes are managed by using scene management. Okay, so the network management automatically manages scene state and scene transition for a multiplayer game. Okay, suppose one player can play their particular part, then that particular part of the game is transferred to the another player over the internet or by over using the network. So that states are changes of that particular game, that means scenes. Then that transformation of the particular scenes or a particular transition of that particular scenes to the users are managed by using scene management. Okay, so these are the three main parts. Okay, that is scene management, then spawn management, and game state management, which are comes under network management. Okay, so that is network manager, which are comes under multiplayer and networking point. Then the next part is UI, that is user interface. The user interface system permits us to create user interfaces fast and natural. Okay, so this is a major feature of Unity's user interface system. Okay, so the user interfaces are available to the users by using the concept of UI in Unity. So the options which are included in UI in Unity are, first one is canvas. The canvas is an area where all the user interface elements are inside. Okay, that means all the elements of the user interfaces are included in canvas option, and it is a game object with a canvas component on it. You can create an image in canvas by clicking on menu, game object, user interface, and image. Okay, so you can see the area as a rectangle in the scene view. Canvas uses the event system object for the messaging system. Okay, so wherever the work which is done in Unity, which is shown in the scene view. Okay, so in scene view, you just see the canvas, and in that canvas, you can do your work. So the options which are available in canvas are draw order of elements. Okay, that means how the elements are appear. That order of that particular elements are managed here. Okay, so suppose there are 10 frames or 10 images, then that sequence of that particular images are given by using draw order file. Okay, so suppose you want to change the order of the elements, then that orders are changes by using the canvas. Then the another option which is available in user interface under canvas is render modes. Okay, so the render modes are screen space overlay, then a screen space camera, then world space. These render modes are available. In that first one is screen space overlay. This render mode locates user interface elements on the screen rendered on the top of the scene, and the canvas will automatically changes size if you resize the screen or you change the resolution. Okay, so जसं याच्यामध्ये resolution change होईल किंवा स्क्रीन रिसाइज होईल तर त्या टाइप मध्ये ते ऑटोमॅटिकली जे काही पर्टिक्युलर एलिमेंट्स आहेत तर त्यांची साईज काय होणार आहे ऑटोमॅटिकली चेंज होणार आहे दॅट इज स्क्रीन स्पेस ओव्हरले and it includes this resize of the particular element when screen is resized or change the resolution of the screen. Okay, म्हणजे बघा तुम्ही जर मोबाईल गेम असेल आणि जसा मोबाईलची साईज असेल तर त्या टाइप मध्ये तो गेम तिथे फिट होत असतो त्या मोबाईलवरती किंवा त्या टाइप मध्ये शो होत असतो तर जशी स्क्रीन असते तसं तो जे काही पर्टिक्युलर एलिमेंट्स आहेत तर ते काय होत असतात रिसाइज होत असतात. So this is the first option, screen space overlay. Then second option is screen space camera. In this mode, the canvas is located a given distance facing a particular camera. This camera renders the user elements, user interface elements. Camera setting affects the user interface appearance. The camera controls the distortion of perspective by field of view. Okay, so distance spacing a particular camera option is available in screen space camera option under canvas. Okay, so this is the image, but it is not clear here. So the options which comes with particular element which is included in the game, which gives a distance spacing to the particular camera in that particular application. Then the next one is world space. Canvas will behave as any other object in the scene. In this render mode, direct transform is used to set the size of the canvas manually. Okay, so the canvas size is set by using world space option. Okay, so this is useful for UI that are meant to be a part of the world. This is also called as a diegetic interface. So the world space is used to set the size of the canvas. So these are the three options which are comes under render modes in canvas. Then the another option is basic layout, which is also available in UI. So to use the basic layouts, click on game object, then UI and image. Then the basic layouts available are rect tool, rect transform, resizing versus scaling, then pivot, anchors, anchor presets, anchor and position fields in the inspectors. These options are available under basic layout in user interface. So the first one is rect tool. So in the scene view, using the rect tool in the toolbar, you can manipulate this rectangle. By using the rect tool, you can move, resize and rotate user interface elements. Okay, so these are the toolbar buttons with rect tool selected. Okay, suppose you can select any rect tool over the canvas, or you can select any area in the canvas as a rect tool. Then you can see this particular options, and that options are used to move, resize and rotate the particular user interface element. Okay, then the next one is rect transform. It has rotation, position and scale just like regular transformation, but it also has a width and height for specifying the dimension of the rectangle. ओके सर, ह्याच्यामध्ये सपोज एखादा रेक्टँगल सिलेक्ट केला किंवा इलिमेंट सिलेक्ट केला तर त्या इलिमेंट वरती रोटेशन, पोझिशन, स्केलिंग अप्लाय करण्यासाठी रेक्ट ट्रान्सफॉर्म ऑप्शन यूज होऊ शकतो. ओके, then the next one is resizing versus scaling. That means we can resize the particular object which is available in the scene. That is local scale. Local scale is applied in a rect tool option. Then the next one is pivot. Rotation, size and scale modifications happens around the pivot. Thus the position of the pivot affects the results of rotation, resizing and scaling. Okay, so if the toolbar pivot button is set to pivot mode, then the pivot of a rect transform is moved in the scene view. The next part is anchors. Rect transform includes a layout called anchors. Anchors are the four small triangular handles in the scene view, and anchor information is shown in the inspector. Okay, so at the starting, I'm showing you the four parts, that is a scene view, inspector view, hierarchy and access. Okay, so the anchor information is shown in the inspector part, and it is shown in the scene view. Okay, so this is the another option, anchor. Then anchor presets, then anchor and position fields in inspector. Okay, so these are the particular fields and their particular calculation which is open in inspector part of the particular screen, and the particular options which is related to that particular positions that are calculated in inspector window. Then the next component, which is visual components. Okay, so the before visual components, we just see the part which is basic layouts. Okay, and the next one is visual components. And in visual components, it includes text, image, raw image, mask, and effects. So in that visual components, first one is text. Text component is also called as labels, and it has a text area to enter the text which will be displayed. Okay, so it is just nothing but a text box which is called as a label or as a text, and which is displayed, and it display this text which is entered in the particular text area. म्हणजे त्या टेक्स्ट एरिया मध्ये जे काही एंटर केलेलं असेल तर तो टेक्स्ट काय होणार आहे, डिस्प्ले होणार आहे. ओके, सो you can use the font style, font size. Okay, so that types of particular options are available for that particular text area. म्हणजे त्याच्यामध्ये आपण font style सिलेक्ट करू शकतो, फॉन्ट साइज सिलेक्ट करू शकतो, अलाइनमेंट देऊ शकतो त्या पर्टिक्युलर टेक्स्टला. ओके, तर ते ऑप्शन याच्यामध्ये अवेलेबल आहे. देन सेकंड ऑप्शन इज इमेज. ओके, सो इमेज component is used to fit the target graphic field and also set it colors in the color field. Okay, so the image type will applies the sprite will appear such as slice, tile, and field. Okay, so these are the appearance of the particular images are available in this tool. Okay, so the next one is raw image. Raw image takes a texture and raw image is used if necessary, or else image will be appropriate in the majority of cases. Okay, so in the application, if needed, it uses a raw image. Okay, and it uses a texture and raw image concept here. Then the next one is mask. It is not a visible user interface control, but it alters the appearance of controls child elements. The mask limits the child elements to the shape of the parent. Okay, so the mask option is used for the appearance of controls child elements. Then the next one is effects. So there are different effects are applied on the components like a simple drop shadow or outline. Okay, so there are many of the options available under the effect option. So one of them is simple drop shadow and another one is outline. Okay, so this is the another component which is visual components, which are comes under user interface. Then the next option is interaction option, components. Okay, so components are used to interact with users interface system that handles interaction like mouse or touch events and interaction using a keyboard or controller. Okay, suppose there is a game and in that game you can use the keypad. Okay, so that keypad interaction to that particular game is given using that interaction components. Okay, so when creating the particular game, the interaction components are used. Suppose you can use the mouse events or touch events. Okay, suppose you can use the mouse for playing the particular game. Then that mouse observing particular events. That events are managed using that interaction component. Okay, so in Unity you can use this option, interaction component. Okay, so the options which are available under a interaction component is first one is button. A button has an on-click Unity event to describe what it will act when clicked. म्हणजे याच्यामध्ये जेव्हा या बटन वरती क्लिक केलं जाईल तेव्हा त्याच्या बॅकग्राऊंडला ऑन क्लिक युनिटी इव्हेंट एक्झिक्यूट होणार आहे आणि त्या इव्हेंट मध्ये तुम्हाला मेन्शन करावं लागेल की जेव्हा त्या बटन वरती क्लिक केलं जाईल तेव्हा त्याच्या बॅकग्राऊंडला कोणती प्रोसेस एक्झिक्यूट होणार आहे किंवा त्याच्यामध्ये कोणतं ऍक्शन परफॉर्म होणार आहे तर त्या बटनच्या बॅकग्राऊंडला त्याच्यामध्ये काय केलं जाईल मेन्शन केलं जाईल. ओके, the next one is toggle. A toggle has an on checkbox that determines whether the toggle is currently on or off, and it has on value change the Unity event to describe what it will act when the value is changed. Okay, suppose any value of the particular part or a particular option which is included in the game is changes, then that toggle is used. Then the next option is toggle group. It is used to group a set of toggles that are mutually exclusive. Okay, so the next one is slider. It is used to describe what it will act when the value is changed, and it users can drag between a minimum and maximum value. Okay, suppose you can set the minimum maximum value, then you can use the slider. Then the scroll bar, you just know about the scroll bar, which is a use the values from starting to ending and you can scroll that particular scroll bar. So that options are also used in games. So that options are added by using the interaction component in the games in Unity. Then the drop down, then input field, then a scroll rectangle. Okay, so these options are available under interaction component option. That means interaction of that particular objects which are included in the game. So where it uses the mouse or a touch events or a keyboard or controller, then you can use these options. Then the next one is animation integration. Okay, so this is the another mode which is also used in user interface. Then auto layout. Auto layout is also included in the user interface part. So the auto layout system offers way to place elements in nested layout groups, or for instance, horizontal groups, vertical groups, or grids. It also permits elements to automatically be resized according to the control content, such as a button is dynamically resized to exactly fit its text content plus some padding. ओके सो याच्यामध्ये ऑटो लेआउट सपोज याच्यामध्ये एक जर टेक्स्ट बॉक्स असेल तर त्या टेक्स्ट मध्ये किंवा बटन असेल तर त्या बटन मध्ये जो काही ऑप्शन लिहिलेला असेल किंवा टेक्स्ट लिहिलेला असेल सपोज जर सबमिट असं ऑप्शन लिहिलेला असेल तर तो सबमिट जो काही टेक्स्ट आहे तर तो त्या बटन मध्ये ऑटोमॅटिकली फिट करण्यासाठी विथ पॅडिंग that means the size from all the sides of that particular button which is managed by using auto layout. Okay, so this is the another option, auto layout. Then these are the some of the options which is included in auto layout are understanding layout elements, then layout element components. Okay, then layout controller, then content size fitter, layout groups, then driven rect transform properties. Okay, so the another one is rich text. These options are available in particular option which is comes under animation, integration. Okay, there is no need to remember all these points. Okay, then the next part is navigation and pathfinding. Okay, so in many of the game navigation is used. Okay, so the navigation and pathfinding is easily available in Unity, and navigation is used to move the characters in the game world. Okay, so suppose any objects can move from one location to another location, then for the movement of that particular object is done by the navigation part. Okay, so the navigation mesh is created automatically from the scene geometry. Okay, so the Unity mesh contains the Unity name mesh names, and by using that nav mesh you can do the navigation of the particular game object and the particular effects which are applied on that object. By using navigation we can do in the particular part which is nav mesh. So for creating a nav mesh, these are the particular steps. That is Windows, click on menu Windows, then navigation. Then it contains the another 4 steps. Then select the scene geometry. Then check navigation static. Then adjust the bake settings. That is agent radius, agent height defines. Then max slope. Then step height. Okay, and then click on bake and build the nav mesh. Okay. ज्याच्यामध्ये जर एखादा ऑप्शन असेल तर त्याच्यामध्ये नेव्हिगेशन, तर सपोज जर ही स्क्रीन दिसत असेल तर त्याच्यामध्ये हा ऑब्जेक्ट काय आहे तर या बॉटमला आहे आणि त्या स्टेप्स चढून या ऑब्जेक्ट काय करायचं आहे वरती मूव्ह करायचं आहे किंवा नेव्हिगेट करायचं आहे. तर तो नेव्हिगेट करण्यासाठी याच्यामध्ये या स्टेप्स काय होऊ शकतात फॉलो होऊ शकतात आणि याच्यामध्ये नेव्हिगेशन यूज केलं जातं. तर हे पर्टिक्युलर नेव्हिगेशन याच्यामध्ये कसं यूज होतं तर हे पर्टिक्युलर तुम्हाला जे काही युनिटी हबचं सॉफ्टवेअर आहे तर त्याच्यामध्ये समजेल. Then nav mesh building components. Then the nav mesh building components are available under Unity 5.6 and later versions of Unity. So this particular option, that is nav mesh, is not available under the older versions of Unity. So you can just update that particular nav mesh or Unity software with a newer one. Then the another options are also available in nav mesh link, then nav mesh agent, then the character, that means the character or object which is navigate in that particular application or game, then that character is created here. So these are the steps, that is component, navigation and navmesh agent. Okay, by using the navmesh agent we can create the particular character. And the next point is publishing. Okay, Unity provides support to publish our project onto any platform we require. For publishing your project, following the steps. Okay, ज्याच्यामध्ये जर गेम क्रिएट करून झालेला असेल किंवा ऍप्लिकेशन क्रिएट करून झालेलं असेल तर ते ऍप्लिकेशन डिफरंट प्लॅटफॉर्म वरती पब्लिश कसं करायचं. फॉर एक्झाम्पल देर इज एन अँड्रॉइड फोन्स, देन हाऊ दॅट पर्टिक्युलर गेम इज published on the Android platform, how that particular game is published on machines, that means computers. Okay, so how that games are published, it can use the steps here. First click on file, then click on build setting option. Okay, so on the screen you just see this particular image. You can click on file, then click on build settings, then following window appears. Suppose you can provide that game or publish that game on Android, then click on Android option here. Suppose you can publish that game on iOS, then select iOS here. Okay, so then select the platform. Suppose you want to publish that game on platform Android, then select the Android and then click on player setting. Okay, so there is another option which is player setting. Then click on that option. Then the inspector window is opened. Okay, जेव्हा याच्यामध्ये प्लेयर सेटिंग वरती क्लिक केलं जाईल तेव्हा इन्स्पेक्टर विंडो ओपन होईल ज्याच्यामध्ये रिमेनिंग सेटिंग्स अवेलेबल असतील. ओके, तर याच्यामध्ये आहे बघा कंपनी नेम, प्रोडक्ट नेम आहे, डिफॉल्ट आयकॉन आहे. ओके, तर याच्यामध्ये जे बाकीचे सेटिंग्स आहेत तर ते बाकीचे सेटिंग्स हे रिमेनिंग सेटिंग्स हे इन्स्पेक्टर विंडो मध्ये येतील. अँड बाय गिविंग द प्रोजेक्ट नेम another information is also available in the particular inspector window. Then suppose you want to fill up that particular information, then fill that particular information here. Okay, and then click on build if you want to save the output file in your computer, or else build and run to directly run it on your Android device. ओके, Android device वरती directly run करायचं असेल तरी सुद्धा आपण ते करू शकतो. आणि त्याच्यानंतर the next screen which is appear, which is save as option, then give the particular name to your output file and click on save button, and after that you are ready with your APK or output file and which is ready to launch. Okay, so this is the output file which is ready to launch on any platform that you chooses. Okay, so after creating the game you can publish your game by using these steps which are available in Unity. Okay, so this is the last point in this chapter, which is publishing the particular 2D game or 3D game or any application using Unity. Okay, so this is the last point in this chapter. Okay, so these are the some questions which is given after the ending of this particular chapter. So you just study that particular questions. Okay, thank you.